Hello, in this video we will discuss about the milk physiology. Basically, the milk physiology is related to the different nutrients absorbed into the bloodstream we will discuss in this video. So for example, the here is the person which contain a digestive system, esophagus, salivary glands, and small intestine, large intestine, and liver, as well as gallbladder. So in this way, you can see in this diagram to understand. So this is the salivary gland, and here is the esophagus, and here is the stomach, and this is the liver, and gallbladder is here, and this is the small intestine. So here is the large intestine and appendix. Anus are present, ascending colon, transverse colon, and descending and sigmoid colon to open into the rectum and anus. So you can see and you can understand as well. So this is the large intestine. So let's draw here is the milk. Basically, when we will take the milk contain lactose, protein, fat, salt, vitamin, and water. So basically, this is in the form of liquid at room temperature. So let's begin to understand after it is not mastication process or not oral cavity used for the mastication or teeth involved, but it is directly move into the esophagus. So you can see in this diagram. So the bolus formation, basically the bolus, why? Because some sugar will be digested, which that is disaccharide, but little bit you should remember, and whey, casein, and protein lactose, which that is bound with the salivary protein or protein. We will also understand with the cobalamin or vitamin B12. So in this way, here is the bolus is contain whey, casein, protein, as well as lactose. Lactose formula is looking like this, and this contain a 1 to 4 glycosidic bond. So in this way, here is the bolus will enter into the stomach, and stomach wall contain basically is the mucosal wall. So inside is the enteroendocrine cell as well as parietal cell and chief cell in the form of gastric pit. And this gastric pit is basically release different hormone or different enzyme and different type hydrochloric acid. So here is the enteroendocrine cell. When intact with the enteroendocrine cells to produce the gastrin, and gastrin will be released. After the releasing of the gastrin will stimulate the parietal cell to release hydrochloric acid. When release the hydrochloric acid, in the same time the chief cell is also stimulated to produce the pepsinogen by the intact of the protein, whey protein and casein protein. And to convert hydrochloric acid is a substrate mechanism to activate the pepsinogen into the pepsin, and this pepsin is the protein digesting enzyme will digest the bolus protein, and after that digestion of the protein will go into the cardiac sphincter. So the basically is the pyloric sphincter. Here is the my mistake. So this is, you can see and you can understand, not a cardiac sphincter, because cardiac sphincter after the opening into the stomach, while the duodenum, beginning of the duodenum is the cardiac sphincter, orifice, pyloric sphincter. So this is the also known as the, basically here is the gallbladder. This gallbladder is stimulated by the another hormone which that is released from the enteroendocrine cells of the duodenum, and here is the pyloric sphincter. So after this fat will be intact with the wall of the duodenum will stimulate to enteroendocrine cell to produce CCK, and this CCK will contract the gallbladder to release the uh, bile acid and bile salt. And in this way you can understand as well, basically here is the chyme will be moved into the duodenum, and in this way the GIP and CCK release, and the secretin will be released also. So in this way the CCK release and CCK and secretin will be also promote the exocrine acinar cell of the pancreas to release the exocrine enzyme. So in this way you can see here is the duodenum. I am giving the bigger picture to understand here. Here is the lumen, and lumen contain a different brush border cells which produce a enzyme. So on the other hand, when the pancreas will be stimulated and gallbladder will be stimulated to move collectively into the duodenum, the secretion of the duodenum. So the pancreas will produce the hormones, stimulate enzyme and buffer secretion, and pancreatic lipase, pancreatic amylase, and pancreatic chymotrypsin. This trypsinogen will be enteropeptidase enzyme to produce the trypsin, when trypsinogen will be produced uh, uh, from the pancreas. So on the other hand, the trypsin will be converted into the duodenum, and trypsinogen will convert into the chymotrypsin. Aminopeptidase will convert into the amino acid fat and calcium as well as magnesium. So in this way, here is the emulsification of fat will be occur. In this way, the emulsification of fat in the form of amphiphilic, hydrophilic, and hydrophobic interaction, and salt will be added, and in this way, the lacteal duct will be absorb this. And amino acid as well as the fat and sugar will be directly moved into the blood vessel, while the emulsification of fat will convert into the micelles, and these micelles go into the firstly lacteal duct, and after this go into the blood circulatory system. So in this way, I hope you make sense about this diagram and milk digestion. So let's begin to understand also the large intestine is also involved for the digestion of milk. How? Because the many lactose residue are present. Basically, the lactose are present in the large intestine. So it converts into the galactose and glucose. This conversion is due to lactase enzyme, beta galactosidase enzyme. On the other hand, important thing is here the large intestine contain a microbiota. This is the microbiome of the bacterial fermentation. The waste lactose go into the large intestine where the colony of the bacteria are present, which convert this short chain fatty acid, which is important for us, for nervous system as well as our organ and tissue. On the other hand, it is also repairing mechanism. On the other hand, the gas will be produced also from the lactose due to the fermentation. So the carbon dioxide and methane gas. On the other hand, next here we will also understand about the vitamin B12. There are several vitamins are absorbed, but here we will important to note that, and we will understand the vitamin B absorption. So next here, because it is begin from the oral cavity, because salivary or protein are moved into the stomach, and also the cobalamin will be bind with the protein, with the whey protein and casein protein go into the esophagus, and due to the gravity, so in the form of liquid, and this in this way the chief cell will be stimulated, and after the stimulation of the chief cell to produce hydrochloric acid and also intrinsic factor, and in this way the cobalamin will bind with the protein, will be dissociate due to the hydrochloric acid, and intrinsic factor will be move into the, and R protein from parietal cell will be bind with the cobalamin, and that will be go into the duodenum as an intrinsic factor, will also move into the duodenum. And what is that? It means the intrinsic factor is released from the chief cell and also produce the hydrochloric acid, and cobalamin will be bind with the R protein from parietal cell, and this will be go into the duodenum, and after the duodenum once again dissociation of the cobalamin with the R protein, and after the dissociation the intrinsic factor are also present. This intrinsic factor will be bind with the cobalamin, And after the binding with the intrinsic factor, it will be cubulin receptor. The intrinsic factor receptor are present, that is known as a cubulin protein, will bind with the cobalamin with the intrinsic factor site, and we will move into the blood circulatory system. After the blood circulatory system, cobalamin will be bind with the TC2 transporter cobalamin, which that is 1 and 2. And TC2 is basically cobalamin will be bind with the TC2, and in this way will go into the blood circulatory system. And on the other hand, the vitamin B is required for the muscle, so it means the deposition into the muscle for several function, as well as other the muscle growth as well. So I hope you make sense about these things. So here is the enterocytes, basically is also known as the brush border cells. So in this way, the enterocyte basically contain a cubulin, which that is allowed to move inside the cobalamin. So in this way, the vitamin B12 is used for the our body. So in I hope you make sense. So in this way, here is we will discuss about the liquid and solid portion of the milk. So water contain 87% and total liquid is the 87%. So milk is liquid in room temperature, while on the other hand the solid is the 30%, is 3.7% fat, 9% solid, non-fat, and calcium, magnesium, vitamin, salt, and protein, whey, and casein also content of the milk. So I hope you make sense about these things. So if you like this video, please make sure to like and